3 ways to improve your yoga teaching. As a yoga teacher trainer and a studio owner, teachers often ask me how they can get better as a yoga teacher, and a lot of people get caught up in things that are very difficult to control, like the sound of your voice or your humor or your charisma. These things really are very individual and they're very difficult to train. I always encourage people to focus on being effective, and an effective teacher really does 3 things. We show, we tell, and we touch. Showing means our physical gestures more than demonstrating. Of course, we do demonstrate a little bit, but mostly we want to use our body as a teaching tool. When you're trying to improve your gestures and your body language, the best thing to do is to free up your hands. You'll see yoga teachers with their hands clasped behind their back. You'll see hands on their waist or hands in their pockets. My biggest suggestion to improve your gestures is simply to free up your hands and allow yourself to be a little bit of a clown, a little bit of a pantomime in class. That's for showing. For the telling part, the talking part, the only way to improve your voice is to talk more. I'd also encourage you to over-enunciate your words, as I'm doing now, which means you hit all 4 corners of every word, and also open your mouth much bigger than you would when you normally talk. Your teaching voice is very different than your speaking voice. You should slow your words down, you should enunciate your words more, and you should choose your words a lot more carefully, specifically using verbs and specifically using infinitive verbs. That means I tell my students, lift your arms above your head, as opposed to, next, as we're lifting our arms above our head. That's a blah sentence. Lift your arms above your head is a very clear and direct language. So we talked about show, we talked about tell. Last, let's talk about touch. As a yoga teacher, this is all we really do, is we show, we tell, we touch. Touch is physically engaging with your students. And this is kind of a controversial topic. It shouldn't be. It's controversial because a lot of people come from old school traditions like me, Ashtanga, where people step on you and crank legs behind your head. And I don't do any of that anymore. And I don't think it's really appropriate for 99% of students. But touching is just using your body as a physical tool. So if a student needs to spread their fingers, literally you touch their fingers and you say, spread your fingers. And that physicality, it's called kinesthetic teaching, is really, really effective for helping your learning have more of an impact, helping your teaching have more of an impact. So as a teacher, it's great if you're funny, but I'm usually not funny. It's great if you're charismatic. I'm usually not charismatic. But most days, almost every day, I'm effective. And I'm effective because I focus on show and tell and touch. These are things that I can control. I can improve my physicality, my gestures in the room. I can improve the sound of my voice, the way I choose my words. And I can improve the way I physically move around the room and use my body as a teaching tool. Not pushing students into poses, but if and when it's appropriate, using simple touch, often 1 or 2 fingers, we call it minimum viable touch, to help students get deeper into poses. Those are 3 simple tips. I hope you find them helpful.